Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. Today, I have the privilege of presenting before this elite gathering a brief overview of a remarkable book, Warriors and Falcons. Warriors and Falcons is a testament of Dr. Rumana's dedication to the medical field and her commitment to recognizing excellence within it. We all acknowledge Dr. Rumana as a prolific writer whose passion for healthcare-related issues shines through her work. 13th of September this year, at the third death anniversary of his father, Makhdoomi, the book cover was released in social media for the first time. And while I was reading the book, I could find a line where she regrets that her late father could not proofread the book. The book has been co-authored by Dr. Farooq Ahmed Khan, a renowned pulmonologist internationally. He has many credits to his profile. He always provides help to healthcare system in Kashmir. He has compiled a list of outstanding doctors of Kashmiri origin from USA, but also motivated others to contribute to this book. Please lend me your attention for the next 15 minutes, and I assure that you will stay engaged. This captivating book focuses on profiles of 100 exceptional Kashmiri doctors who have done outstanding work in Kashmir or outside. In this gripping book, authors take us on an illuminating journey through the lives of doctors, portraying them as both falcons soaring high and warriors battling on the front lines of healthcare. The falcons symbolizes their ability to soar to great heights, possessing a keen vision, wisdom, and the capacity to see beyond the ordinary. It signifies their relentless pursuit of excellence, their commitment to learning, and their constant quest to push the boundaries of medical science. On the other hand, the warriors aspect embodies the resilience, courage, and unwavering determination of doctors in the face of adversity. They stand as guardians, fighting tirelessly against illness, injury, and the myriad challenges that confront them daily. Dr. Rumana skillfully explores the emotional toll this battle takes on these healers, revealing their vulnerability, doubts, and inner struggles. In her preface, Dr. Rumana mentions about how the idea of writing profiles of 100 Kashmiri doctors stuck her way back in 2016. She shared this thought with Dr. Farooq from USA, as she was equally impressed by the work of non-resident Kashmiri doctors. She mentions about hardships, struggles, and sad moments she faced with her part in collecting profiles and scrutinizing doctors in the list. Dr. Farooq highlights in his preface that this book is a much needed and uplifting story of the Kashmiri doctors who have brought the healthcare provided by missionary doctors a century ago to the present state of the art level. A Kashmiri doctor who happens to be the warriors in the theme. Dr. Rumana has written a 5-page write-up on a Kashmiri doctor where she mentions what a Kashmiri doctor goes through, pain and uncertainty. She has described a tale of nearly 30 years, how a Kashmiri doctor has faced peculiar situations and still upheld ethics. She has quoted few examples where a doctor has to declare his son dead, where the student had to remove the bullet from a professor's eye, and where the wife had to intubate the husband. Dr. Rumana skillfully weaves a tale about the evolution of art and practice of medicine in Kashmir, which provokes deeper contemplation within medical community. She mentions how legends like Dr. Goshlal Kaul, Dr. Vaishnavi, Dr. Ali Jan, and many others who laid the foundations of allopathic medicine in Kashmir. She is thankful to the contributions made by Professor G.Q. Alakaban, Dr. Mohammad Yusuf, Dr. Ajaz Nabi Kaul, and so many others who have helped her in compiling this book. Government Medical College Srinagar proved to be a boon for Kashmir. Best minds were shaped by the best in the profession to give a Kashmir and the world an exciting breed of competent professionals. With the addition of SKIMS, generations of brilliant doctors followed. Within a month of its introduction, the book is on the shelves in New York. This is the only book available on the subject. This is the only book available on the subject which has contributed towards portraying extraordinary lives of Kashmiri doctors of various eras. It covers nearly a century of healthcare in Kashmir through profiles of Kashmiri doctors. Coming to the contents of the book, this is a 502-page book in which the contribution of Dr. Farooq Khan is 140 and the rest all is written by Dr. Rumana. This book is divided into 4 sections, namely the section for the legends, the section for the pioneers, the section for the flag bearers, and the path breakers. This is the writer's corner. This is the actual computer on which this hard work was done over the last 8 years. The first page of the book welcomes the reader with a rose, a symbol of love. So this painting has been forwarded to the author by Dr. Hamide Durrani, a lover of the art. This is the list of the legends. 25 legends have been listed in the book. Unfortunately, only 8. The rest of 8 are living and the rest are gone to the heavens. So the idioms written against the names are very apt. I read the few. A legend of legends, Dr. Ali Muhammad Jan. A champion you can't defeat, Dr. Bilkis Jamila, who is present here. A trendsetter in research, none other than Professor Muhammad Sultan Khuru. Humility personified, Dr. Muhammad Yusuf. These are the legends in frames. These are our living legends. Professor Makbul, Professor Alakaban, Professor Khuru, Professor Muhammad Yusuf, Professor Mahmud Khan, Professor Bilkis Jamila. I could not get the photo of Wazira Khanum and Dr. Hamide Durrani. The next section is of the pioneers. This again, a painting forwarded by Hamide Durrani, and this is another symbol of love, the sunflower. Pioneer in hematology, Dr. Mohammad Ismail Qadri is here. Great psychiatrist, Mushtaq Marzoom Saab is here. A skilled ENT and skull-based surgeon, an inspiration for all, a man who wears many hats. Professor Rafiq Ahmed Pankuri Saab is here. Dr. Rumana's profound empathy and understanding of medical profession shines through every page, inviting readers to glimpse into the hearts and minds of these remarkable individuals. To know more about the life sketches of warriors, you need to read this book, Warriors and Falcons. This is a recent picture in which you can see the legends, the pioneers, the flag bearers, and we wish that all of them keep smiling. The third section is on the flag bearers. Many of them are present in this auditorium, and many of them, 15 of them rather, are from this institute itself. A skilled cardiologist, Dr. Khurshid Iqbal is here. The radiation oncologist, Mohammad Maqbool Saab is here. The famous urologist, Mohammad Salim Ali is here. So these first three sections of 75 doctors were the warriors. So these profiles were sketched by Rumana. In addition, from the outside list, the profile of Farooq Khan has also been written by Rumana herself. So this section of the book profiles 25 Kashmiri doctors who migrated and worked outside Kashmir, including 20 from US who established themselves as leaders in medicine and surgery. This is the list. Through compelling narratives and personal experiences, Warriors and Falcons unveils the human side of these healers, highlighting their strengths and tribulations, their joys and sorrows. So I was personally interested in reading the life sketch of those who are outside Kashmir. Out of the 100 in the book, 80 I knew. I counted 80 I knew. I joined medical college in 1977. It has been 47 years in medical colleges and other places giving my services. So I could count 80, and that's perhaps one of the reasons why I'm standing before you. So I was interested in reading the life sketches of Falcons in details. So these are the common points what I could find in each and every case. All of them were being born in Kashmir, rather most of them were born in Kashmir, graduating from GMC Srinagar, getting into USA or UK and doing an amazing work. All of them had childhood ambitions or aspirations. Somebody wanted to become a mountaineer, somebody wanted to become a detective, someone wanted to be a writer, actor. Even one has mentioned that he wanted to be a farmer and bird photographer, extra. One thing is common, that all of them were brilliant alumni of GMC Srinagar. They speak about their struggles, they speak about their trainings, residency, masters, fellowships. They have recognitions to their credit for their impactful clinical achievements and research. They speak about their cushions health, the excellent awards to their credit, their contributions. They even speak about the kindness they return once they come back on summer holidays to the valley and by delivering lectures and sharing their experiences. All of them say they expressed their fond memories of GMC days, deep sense of gratitude for all their teachers for shaping their lives. They share abiding love and sense of loyalty to the homeland Kashmir, and most of them, importantly, I found, are involved in establishing Islamic centers in America and UK. One feels motivated and inspired after reading this individual life sketches. So if you want to get inspired, if you want to be motivated, for the advice for younger residents is that go through this book. It is priced nominally. The price for this book is what is that of a pizza? So the choice is yours, pizza or this book. Moreover, this book isn't just an ode to 100 Kashmiri doctors. It is dedicated to the spirit of all Kashmiri doctors who lived for the patients and died serving the profession. It invites us to appreciate the dedication and sacrifices of those who commit their lives to healing others, shedding light on the profound impact they have on society. There are quotes in the book as well. I will read 3 of them. I know what I want to be. He knows what I shall be. This is from Dr. Amarjeet, pediatrician. You keep your money. Welcome to America. This is the quote by Farooq A. Khan. There's a story behind each and every quote. And to know, you have to read this book. And the last one which I have chosen is from Professor Abdul Rashid Khan. I enjoy the beauty of this slide. I want to treat my eyes with this beauty, and I want my brain to retain it. While closing the book, author mentions about some non-Kashmiri doctors who have left their visible imprints on the health landscape of Kashmir by their contributions. Contributions of Nair brothers, Arthur and Ernest, known as father surgeons of Kashmir. Dr. Elena M. Hawk, a psychiatrist nicknamed as Pagal Amin, trained in Best Institute of Zurich, who chose to work at Srinagar as professor of psychiatry. So this is one of the case of reverse falcon. The falcon who preferred to settle in Kashmir is credited with transforming the rather backward madhouse at Lotus Lake into an established psychiatry department and hospital. There's a tribute for these gentlemen as well. There is a list of 7 doctors who are not the forgotten ones. One of the most striking aspects of Warriors and Falcons in author's writing prowess, which shines and flows well from beginning to the end. There is no repetition of lines in this book, page 502. I could not find a single line which is repeated. This contributes significantly to the book's impact, leaving reader emotionally moved and engaged, making it a compelling read for anyone who appreciates the theme of the book. In conclusion, Warriors and Falcons is not just a book. It is an immersive journey of art and practice of medicine in Kashmir, which also portrays extraordinary lives of Kashmiri doctors of various eras who contributed to health care in our outside Kashmir. Our predecessors have done a splendid work. Our contemporaries are doing great too. The stories of these 100 men and women should inspire all of us and the generation next to do better. The last one, this is the overview, my overview in picture. This is the picture of strength and promise. A Kashmiri doctor was, is, and will stay strong and evergreen like pine trees despite all hardships. Legends and pioneers who have left this world are still standing tall like bare pine trees and are source of inspiration for us. The rays of sun are promised for the future as well. A Kashmiri doctor has strong roots and wings as well. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Our next guest is a very meticulous person and an avid reader. His knowledge about the skill of writing and publishing has fetched him the position of being one amongst the panel of executive editors of the Journal of Medical Sciences, KIMS. Can we invite on stage Professor Ejaz Nabi Kol from the Department of Medicine, KIMS, Saura, to share his observations.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to all of my teachers, fellow consultants, and rest of the august audience here. We all have reviewed a lot of medical literature. I am not any literary person to review a literary book. But Dr. Rumana has given me this opportunity. I find myself privileged to tell certain facts of growth of my life, which have a deep relationship with this book. This book, I have not made any presentation. I want to talk eye to eye. This book review, I have divided into three parts: the concept, the content, and the authors. Regarding the authors, Dr. Rumana was junior to me in medical college. Then she joined here and rose to the level of professor of pathology. And Professor Farooq Khan, we have been hearing about. I don't have any personal interaction with him. So I will confine my interactions to Dr. Rumana. Regarding the concept, Dr. Rumana and me were on editorial board of a cultural magazine during 2015, 16, 17. The time Professor Umar Javed Shah were the director of this institute. While reviewing that cultural magazine that time, we had a discussion about certain medical figures in Kashmir. And she quickly jumped to the idea that why shouldn't she write about them? I had an idea that she writes very prolifically, and I had a confidence that she will give a good contribution to the future. She made a list, and in the early days of her writing, she took little whatever inputs I had about medical fraternity, I gave her, and that probably she made a very good scaffolding and then made a building out of it. Regarding the concept, it dates back to my childhood days, once my grandfather used to talk about the early 1900s of Srinagar city. It was dominated by 2 or 3 Hakims that time. I think our revered guest, Zarif Ahmad Saab, will probably knowing much better than me. 3 Hakims, Amsar, whom we used to be called as Amar Hakim, Aziz Hakim, and Shamlal Bhatt. These used to be dominating the medical fraternity, the health of the society that time. And then my grandfather used to say that Gashlal Kaur, the probably first MRCP, whose name I found during my MRCP time in London, the name of some of the doctors from Kashmir written on the honor boards of MRCP London. My father's uncle, Mr. Muhammad Makbul Kaur, was General Secretary of Muslim Conference in 1930s. And he was studying philosophy in Lahore University. Contemporary time, once Professor Ali Muhammad Jan was doing his MBBS in King Edward Medical College. That developed a family relationship between our family and the Fazli families pre-47, which continued even after 47, which I hear from my father as well as grandfather. Then I had a good chance to be associated with the family because his son, Ali Ahmad Jan, who is a pulmonologist in Utah, USA this time, happened to be my class fellow, and we joined BISCO in 1972 in nursery, and we continued till now. So I had a very good intimate contact with the family, with the regular visits to their family, and had academic, personal, as well as cultural relationship with Professor Ali Muhammad Jan. A lot of impact on my life because of him. We used to adore him. We used to see his way of handling the patients. And that had a lot of impact, not only on me, on many of the class fellows who happen to be professors in these institutions like Professor Arif Hamid, Professor of Urology. So this was the concept behind, and a very good concept, because this flows from generations to generations. And every family in Kashmir wants his son or daughter to study medicine. It is much more than in any other part of India. If we go to Bihar, the concept is about IAS services, IPS services. If we go to Karnataka, the concept is about tech services. But in Kashmir, you will see in every mohalla, you will now find 2 or 3 doctors. Probably it is only once you see the peers. Now coming to the content, she has selected a number 100 that I don't know why she made it 100. It could have been 101, it could have been 99. Unrefutably, the legends which Professor Sajjad mentioned about had impact on almost all of the lives which are present here, except the ones who are mentioned as legends. Most of us are taught by them, and some of them we heard about. And you resurrect your lives by seeing your peers. You try to copy them. We used to copy how Professor Alagband used to park us. We used to talk to each other how Professor Khuru used to take our morning rounds, 8:30 sharp in gastroenterology ward. We used to talk about, and I do talk to my students about Professor Parvez Kaul coming at 8:30 in the morning in such chilly winters and taking our class at 8:30 a.m. in Ward 5. Until and unless these things percolate to the generation next, all of us are aware which type of diversions the young boys and girls these days have. And as being a teacher in academics and teaching MBBS, MD students, I do find a lot of concentration lapses in them, despite they being more intelligent, more tech savvy than us. And such a book, such an account, you don't know changes whose life when. In this book, many people have admitted that they were average students. Once you read these accounts, without mentioning the names. And a simple fact in their life changed 360-degree their life. They became meticulous, they became studious, and they rose to be in this list, which includes only 100 doctors. Obviously, pioneers are unrefutable, and history will always tell that a particular person has done this particular job first time in life. In my opinion, I took permission from Dr. Rumana. As a reviewer, I'll be a little critical also. Some of the people, despite being pioneers, are not mentioned in the book. The pioneer thinks that he has done a pioneering work, but probably maybe it may be out of the sight. Or it is the view of the author, that luxury we can give to the author to include which one he or she thinks has done the best in that field. Then comes the 25 names of flag bearers. There are innumerable number of flag bearers, I should admit, more than 25 which are mentioned there. Legends, unrefutable. Pioneers, some may have been missed out, or some did not even communicate back to Dr. Rumana, which I have learned, which she told me. She tried to contact them, didn't want to. Flag bearers are many. It depends how you see this prism. From one angle, there can be only 25 persons who can be flag bearers. But there are many, many flag bearers. Maybe somebody else may write a book next time who may include 100 flag bearers. And even I see some of the faces right now here who are really flag bearers in their branches. But maybe their branches are small, may not catch the eye of the author. Then there is the fourth and the last section of the doctors who are in US and Canada. As Dr. Sajjad said, that some falcons reversely flew here. But they are the falcons who left this place. I was going through the book and I read a statement of one of that. Without mentioning the name, you will read it, you will come to know. One of those persons writes that once he landed in America, he had horrors of 90s for a decade. He had nightmares. To overcome those nightmares, it took him 1 decade. What about us? What about all of you? We lived here. Most of us gave their full life here. Even if the persons who remained here may not be flag bearers, may not be torch bearers, but I think they have done a highly commendable work. There are many people who did not come to academia, who remained in government health services. Whether it was floods, whether it was the era of 90s and early 2000, or it was of COVID and Corona. Once people stayed back at home, only the doctors were on the roads. Even the police personnel were not on the roads. I'm a witness to it. We all have worked during the COVID. We were the only persons who were walking on the road. People were shaking even touching the patients. So every individual, every doctor, the 10,000 plus doctors who are enrolled in the State Medical Council, I think everybody deserves a clap that their presence have done wonders to our society. But these are lives, great lives. They should teach us. They should guide us. Wordsworth writes, lives of all great men remind us that we can make our lives sublime. Departing leave footprints on sands of dunes of time. Everybody's life, especially of doctors, it is a role model for the future generation. Everybody wants to copy, to come to that level. Everybody does not have a grandfather or father to tell the stories, or may not be knowing, or our generation is too much occupied with our work. We are not able to give that much time to our children to show them which peers they should follow. But at least this book will remind us about the people who have sacrificed their life to make this branch a shining branch. The best in the state or the duty goes to this profession. It still holds true today. The highest IQ, whosoever is in our community, always chooses to be a doctor first. We should promote them so that we get a better future. At the same time, before I conclude, I have to tell two things. Once Professor Ali Muhammad Jan died in the United States of America, it was 31st of October 1987. We were in first MBBS, college closed, Ahmad broke down and we went to his house. We were waiting for the coffin to come. He was draped because there is a protocol in America, if somebody dies there, how he should be draped. He was having a suit, he was having a tie, so he got the, whatever the Islamic rites we had to do, it happened in his clinic. And we took him to his last place of rest. The only thing which came to my mind at that time, I was a young boy, because I had heard a lot from my father, from my grandfather, from my father's uncle about him, and my personal interaction with him over these all years. The only thing which came to my mind that time was, which brains go into this mud? And what are we? So to conclude, I'll give a translation of Surah Al-Hajj, verse number 5. that God addresses the man that I have created you from the discharge of male and female, which makes it a nutfa, and then makes it a alq, a coagulated blood, and then gives him the strength after suckling by his mom for 2 years, till he reached to the full strength at 40 years, Arba'in sana. And then I take some of them in their younger lives back to me, and some I put them to miserable old age. This Quran. And then what follows, it is more important, which I want to stress. To the miserable old age, they know nothing when they have known much. That means, give us a version which I as a physician think that he is giving us a version of dementia. That he loses his every skill after he has attained the status of a falcon or a warrior. So that should remind us that we are from the soil. We have to go to the soil. But that should not undermine the qualities of falcons and warriors. I wish Dr. Rumana the best of luck for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on, seated amongst us is a person who's a scholar by nature, a teacher by passion, and an eminent leader who has led GMC Srinagar as a principal during very challenging times. Professor Rafiq Pampori has proudly authored multiple books in English and Urdu language, portraying his expertise and ardent love towards literature. Without further ado, sir, can we please invite you on stage to share a few words?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My respected teachers, dear colleagues, and respected guests in the audience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At the outset, let me thank Dr. Rumana for inviting me here in this august gathering. I thank her once again for the commendable job she has done. Dr. Sajjad Saab has given a very nicely has summarized it. It is collecting an ocean drop by drop, and there are so much, it needs a lot of courage, a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance that Rumana has shown. Undertaking this humongous job, obviously, it could not be, everything could not be included in this one book, and it's not easy to publish a book. There are so many problems while doing such a job. And I am here to say a few words about the authors. This book mainly is the hard work of Dr. Rumana, and which she has done under the guidance of a great star art, Professor Farooq Khan. I was lucky to have interaction with Professor Farooq Khan, towering personality. Was highly impressed by his humble nature, soft-spoken, down-to-earth, a great person. I had quite few interactions with him, and his patriotism is extraordinary. He was from the first batch of GMC. You know, GMC started in 1959. It was not at this place, our teachers will know it better. Where it is now, it was, I think, where present-day LD is there. It was when we were students, there was a pediatric hospital. Over there was the GMC when it was started in 1959. And then Farooq Khan, he moved to US, and because of his hard work, he excelled in medicine. He took pulmonology and became a reputed pulmonologist there. And he achieved a very good reputation and a high rank in American College of Physicians. And it is through that, his position in American College of Physicians, he could help lot many medicals who from these places, I think starting from 80s, 90s, and later, those decades, whosoever was going to US from graduating from GMC, it was through his recommendation, his personal help, his personal endeavor, that they got settled in the US. And he also in between got the mastership in American College of Physicians, and also was a regent of GMC. Has a unique distinction, which I was told to me by Dr. Farooq himself, that this is the only medical college in India whose alumni, 5 of them were regents in American College of Physicians. And the only one regent of regents, this is what Farooq may be knowing it better, that Rumana, again a brilliant pass out of GMC, and she is still there, in serving in US and traveling abroad very widely. And Dr. Farooq has been very active on social activities front. He also was president of IMANA, International Medical Association of North America, and in that also he has been very active. And then he was invited by the Saudi government, and he was a consultant in King Fahd Medical College, where his contribution has been very amazing, that in improving the research, the infrastructure, in making that college of the international repute, and he has been organizing so many conferences. I was also lucky, I was also invited in one of the conferences in Riyadh by Dr. Farooq. He was so kind enough that he arranged my visa and everything, and I attended that conference in Riyadh. I was also invited to another conference, which I think it was in Turkey or Canada, but somehow I could not go there. And then here back home, in addition to helping the graduates there, he has been organizing different, academic programs here. One was how to encourage the Kashmiri doctors, young doctors, in writing. And for the information of the audience, our Dr. Rumana was one who has won that award also, AFK award, that is Farooq Khan. In 99 or something, Rumana wrote this one essay and which won that award for her. And then he was coming here, he delivered a few lectures in GMC, mostly on chronology, and then he's arranging these programs for young doctors, how to write a paper and how to improve his research methodology. And he was encouraging the other people there in years that you go there and you owe it to your own place. That impressed me a lot, and such a nice person, a towering personality, down to earth, and his contribution, though he is, I mean, in the group of, as per the classification of Dr. Rumana as a Falcon, who has not stayed here, has gone overseas, but his contribution back home can also not be ignored. He has given his contribution to this parade and helping. I was also, he arranged some fellowships for our doctors, and on my recommendation, he sponsored Dr. Sanya Rashid, who was our principal later on. She got a fellowship in US, which was again sponsored by Professor Farooq Khan. She was there about 4 months or so in USA in that fellowship. So he has been working, and now he is an interfaith institute, because he has also in Long Island Islamic Center, as Sajjad mentioned, that many of them have established Islamic centers, and Farooq Khan is very active on that line also. And he was so great enough that he visited our small institution, Ilahia, and he got pencils and pens from all the way from USA for our kids in the institution. That was very great of him. So coming to the main author, Dr. Rumana, she has been our student. I know her from the student days, but she got associated with me when she was a house surgeon in the Department of Medicine in SMHS. It is those days I came to know her writing skills. What an amazing creative writer she is. It is from those days when I came across her writings. That was some personal communication between her and myself. And she continually, she was writing a sister's desk, or magazine, monthly magazine, which we used to issue by the name of Writing Reality of the Truth. And this is simply a God's gift, We doctors we read in English, we speak in English, we write English, but creative English and literary English and artistic English, it is something different. I don't think it can be achieved by reading and writing. This is a God's gift which Allah has given Rumana. She's a quite creative. She will know. Some event will come to her mind. It will strike her mind, which most of us it will go unnoticed. And then this event, she would have such a creative, she will build a story out of it, and she will adorn it with such a beautiful words. The reader, when he goes through it, as if he is moving through that event, and that is more, you can see that part, because this book is mostly because about the autobiographies of the people, her book, The White Man in Dark, in that book, those creative skills one can see in that book, how she has presented the turmoil, the doctors working in that turmoil in Kashmir, this is something which is unique with her. And I always use, my interest was that she should continue this her creative writing, and I used to encourage her But of course, I would have loved her to write on some other aspects also, but because of her passion and her patriotism, both of them, both authors are quite patriotic. Rumana's patriotism is quite amazing, and that's why she chose to write. If you can see the title of that book, the title itself speaks volumes about her creative thinking. White Man in Dark. See, the title she has chosen, the words she chose from that book, and this is something very unique to her, and she was lucky to get a life partner, Professor Naik Khurshid, an equally competent professional, a competent neurosurgeon in this institution, and an academician. There are many books to his credit also. The audience may not be knowing that he wrote one book in neurosurgery for these aspirants of MCA, but he has translated as many books, and there's a very unique contribution that he has translated a very difficult and very scholarly work of a great scholar known as Manazar Ahsan Gilani. His books is translated in English. It's a very great contribution because our younger generation don't know Urdu and don't know, they don't understand the Urdu, so he converted them into the English. So this is good luck to Rumana also, because that this is an alumnia of our place, that the talent, particularly of the females, gets killed and wasted in so-called what is known as voodoo. We have not come out of that. There are 50% of seats in all medical colleges which go to females. 50% to boys, 50% to females. And after passing out, what happens to that female number? So we have a problem as a society that they are not allowed that intellectual journey. That intellectual journey we should have been encouraged, and we should have been cashed, and we should have been, given a conducive atmosphere. That's lacking in our society. There are so many problems on our social. So Dr. Rumana, for youngsters, can be a role model. And I highlight her one. I don't know if she likes it or not. I don't know. One more aspect, and that her parenting has been amazing. You cannot imagine, she has tutored her children herself after 10th. They are not going to any tutors. How could she get time? And she has developed all those notes of 9th, 10th, and all that, and which she is publishing. So in our society, we have a problem of parenting. This may not be related to but this is related to the author, so you will excuse me for these 2 minutes more. That the problems in the youth, drugs, depression, anxiety, social, moral, they all boil down to the parenting. And in the West now, there is a consensus in the West academia that all personality disorders are because of childhood trauma. That there has been a trauma during childhood, and that is resulting in different these personality disorders. So this now parenting is becoming a subject separately, and I would advise young these mothers they should attend those parenting courses. There are so many courses online because we are getting a lot of problems in the society which are because of wrong parenting and because of wrong upbringing of the children. So you can take a leaf from Rumana's contribution on that aspect also. So I congratulate her. I wish her a prosperous life and wish that she will continue to contribute with her pen, which Allah has gifted to her, and will little bit improve upon that. And she understands what I mean by improve upon that. And we are all thankful to Professor Farooq Khan, and I think I also wish happy, long life and good health to Farooq Khan, and wish that he will continue to guide youngsters here in this. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, sir. We have amongst us today a person who has a plethora of knowledge. His students recall him as one of the best teachers of GMC Srinagar and a source of inspiration to many youngsters. With the vision of making his knowledge and experience available as a guide for the future doctors, Professor Mohammad Yusuf, former head of the medicine of GMC Srinagar, has published multiple books related to medicine, amongst which his Handbook of Medical Emergencies, written by him, became a go-to manual for the residents in the ER. Professor Mohammad Yusuf, sir, can we please invite you on stage to share a few words?
Assalamu alaikum. It's a great pleasure, enormous pleasure to be here, to be in this function firstly. That is Dr. Rumana's function. That was my dream too, that this book somehow should come and people should read it. And the second pleasure of mine is being among my friends, Dr. Wai Saab, Zarif Saab, we have Madam, respected Professor Bilkis, we have Dr. Kuru Saab, whether I'm saying him rightly, we have Dr. Qadri Saab, and we have the person no less than director himself, who in spite of being very busy is sitting here. Dr. Rashid Khan, I can see him, and it is I'm so happy talking about yes, and the organizers of this place who have given that book. There's the director, and your staff is supposed to be busy with a meeting, I was told by the author. So we have constraint of time. So I'm not going to say, enough has been said by Dr. Pampuri, and enough has been said about the book. I'll mention some points which were in my mind, which might be useful and may not be spoken. There's a feeling that doctors are supposed to be doctors only. And this happened once. I was in a university. The Rifsa was there, and one of the very literary person of this place. There was a meeting on Iqbal, Dr. Iqbal in the University of Kashmir. And the person was by my side, and that person, God bless his soul now, is no more among us, a big literary figure of Kashmir. He said, what is this person? He said, this is a doctor. He said, doctor, what's he doing here? He could have been in the hospital useful. I said, what's it? Then I did some work on this, and I knew also about it, that Avicenna, the name which is taken with respect this time all over the world, this person at 9 years, he had Quran hifz. At 16, he started medicine and doing on his own, doing experiments with uh, plants, herbs, and got a chance to treat the governor or the sultan of the state who got well. And he gave him a library, and he wrote the canon of medicine, Al-Qanun fi Tib. Now, this book is a treatise which is everywhere outside this place. Say whether it is the British Museum, whether it's an American Medicine Museum, you will see Avicenna. Ravi Sahib would tell me that Avicenna was a mathematician. Avicenna was a philosopher, and he wrote a book on Aristotelian philosophy. This person was an astronomist. This person was a musician. So I thought Dr. Rumana has to be gifted doubly, because she being a pillar of pathology of this place, and out of my sheer own interest, I read about her work, which she never told me. She has written about our work, not much of mine, but many works of our great people, Qadri Saab, Madam Bilkis, the director, Khuru Saab, Wahid Saab. She has written about it, but nobody talks about what she has done. That would not be justice. Now, I have a difficulty in going through net, internet, and all that. I found she has 100 publications. I was amazed that she has done work and has been part of work which was where it involved an mRNA indicators, molecular medicine. She has been a party, I might say it wrongly, maybe somebody else from this prestigious institution, this work. She has written an overview of neurosciences in Kashmir. And this she has written with Dr. Nail. And I just said, she has written, Dr. Rashid Khan would appreciate that, 10 years aspiration cytology experience of the Kashmir and of this prestigious institute. I was surprised that how did the doctor got the time. That's where I would put her as gifted, because it's not question of being doctor. We may be very good doctors, but she has gone beyond. Now, I read her work in COVID and single work on spinal aspergillosis. I'm not sure whether she is a part of that work, or I don't know, which has got published in an Egyptian journal. She never told me about it. I never knew it. I thought, what is she doing other than this? But I was so amazed that this work beyond this interest has been enormous. So doctor also can be more than a doctor. And as Rafiq Saab said, can contribute more than a doctor. But as far as the book is concerned, she wanted me to say that what was my experience of the doctors of that time. Well, it is difficult to talk about doctors who have served this place for the last 80, 90 years. What I found about her as a writer, she is an instinctual writer. It is not that she is looking for people. It is Farooq Khan, about which Dr. Rafiq said, who found her? Not she found, she doesn't know. interventional cardiologist, he told me on telephone that she invited me, Riaz. He told me she invited me, thank her. It's not that she has found Riaz, she doesn't know him. He was a student here. He said, I want to thank her, she has invited me for this occasion. When she started writing, and instinctively what she is writing, if you focus, is about the problems of the society of this place, precisely. I mean, this is my reading, not that she is telling me. Why would she tell me? This is my gut feeling that she writes instinctively about this. The book on Black Man in Dark, a White Man in Dark, about the doctors. What is written there? If you read it, these are the woes and problems of doctors of this place. She has written about the flood and problems and damage of the flood of this place. She has written about other disasters of this place, purely addressing the problems of the society and reading those papers from outside, from Kashmir diaspora. They looked for her, who she is, who is writing this, because there is a direction she has in the pen. This is not vague. And this book also, I feel, is a part of same thing. What she is worried, possibly, I may be wrong, I mean, this is my assessment. She is worried about self-esteem of doctors of this place. She has written instances, if somebody has read her book on doctors in distress in Kashmir. And she has written there that how sad it has been, that how the distress among doctors. And to maintain self-esteem, to project her talent as a good daughter of this place, as a humane person, as a great person with feelings, humane feelings, she has tried to restore some self-esteem among this profession. And she is exclusively writing purely, if you see, about the problems we are facing here. She has so much interest and so much thankful she is that she has written about Miss Hawk in this book, Madam Hawk, who Dr. Wahid Saab knows, was a teacher here. You know the Hawk, psychiatrist. So about her, she has written Madhouse on the Lotus Garden or Lotus Lake, Badamwari. That is the psychiatry hospital. About his birding, where it got burned, how much she has written and how much sad she has felt. So purely, what is simmering in her is the problems of our society, sufferings of our society, and partly suffering of we doctors. Would pray to Allah to give her all the help, all the zeal to write more and more, and keep the direction and keep the relevance. With all the love and regards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Delighted I am to invite the next guest on stage, who along with Professor Farooq Khan represents the first batch of GMC Srinagar. She is a woman who's known for being an extremely hardworking, dedicated and disciplined professional. Professor Bilkis Jamila with her meticulous work culture and incredible leadership qualities, has successfully headed the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at GMC Srinagar and taken it to greater heights. Her spirit and energy stands unmatched till date as she continues to serve all her patients that need her. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, may I please invite on the stage Professor Bilkis Jamila to share a few words.
I think about this. Assalamu alaikum. And I am delighted to have been invited to this august audience by Dr. Rumana. I don't think I will feel, I think, short of words to appreciate what she has done to write this book. And I still remember she used to telephone me and ask me how and when and in what circumstances I am working, to send photographs while I am operating in the operation theater. And I used to get so delighted that somebody is there who has appreciated and who has written a book about the legends of this place. I am very proud to be I think medical college started with us, and I am one of the students of first batch of medical college, and Dr. Farooq and Dr. Arifa Khan was my class fellow. After completing MBBS, they left for US, and we continued to be here, serve here, and be a part of gynecological department. So I wanted just to tell you how the gynae department was evolved in medical college, and how the hospital got extended. First, it was confined to SMHS hospital. Then, when we felt short of beds, then it was extended to 100-bedded hospital, which contributed a lot for the interest of patients, and it also helped to train undergraduates and postgraduates. Then a time came when 100-bedded hospital also fell short of beds. We used to have patients, either 2 or 3 in each bed. Labor room would be crowded. So with the help of stalwarts like Dr. Nakshbandi, Dr. Girjadar, we were able to establish LD hospital, which you know is a prime hospital and the only gynecological hospital in Srinagar, and is doing so much of hard work and discharging their duties for the welfare of the patient. Now, when the gynecology and obstetric department started, we had only 2 doctors, Dr. Malhotra and Dr. S. Arora. Then came Dr. Nakshbandi and Dr. Girjan. I was assistant surgeon with Dr. Nakshbandi, and then after some time she left. Then Dr. Girja continued to be here, and with her I have spent most of the time. I was registrar with her, and I think Dr. Rashid will bear me out. In 80s, she sent us for cytology training to PGI Chandigarh, because cytology was started at that time to diagnose CS cervix in the early stage, or to do vaginal cytologies to diagnose different kinds of vaginal infections. And Dr. Aiket was there, under whose guidance we worked there. Dr. Rashid Saab stayed there, and he did his post-graduation. Although Dr. Aiket, he knows him, he also told to Dr. Girja that Dr. Bilkis is doing quite a lot of work, and I want her to be a PG in pathology. But somehow I had too much of interest in gynae and obstetrics. I refused and I came back, and that is how I got my MD in 1973 in Government Medical College, and that is how I started my career in gynae and obstetrics. Then, under the guidance of Dr. Girja, another thing started here, and that was another, I can say, improvement in, say, contraception was subcutaneous nod plant. For that, I was sent for training to Malaysia, Bangkok, and Singapore. From there, I learned about this technique, and quite some time we used to have those NAR plants inserted in patients for contraception, and it would give them contraceptive protection for 5 years. But later on, the research said that this is not a good technique because there would be either rejection on the part of the patient, or those NAR plants would come out spontaneously from it. It would be given in the upper arm. Then after that, again under the guidance of Dr. Girja, this obstetrics, which was so difficult at that time, we used to get patients with obstructed labor, septic labor, having dead babies in their tummies, with head stuck in pelvis, how to conduct deliveries in them. Now it is a thing of past. We used to do destructive procedures like craniotomies. That means to make a hole in the skull of a fetus to reduce the diameter so that baby could be extracted. This would give rise to complications like vesico-vaginal fistula. Again, it's a thing of past. I don't think any doctors which are here have known or have seen about it. They may have read in the books, but we used to see it, and how miserable those patients were, having no control on urinary function. And the technique of vesico-vaginal fistula repair was again taught to us by Dr. Girja, and then we conducted so many of these operations to improve the quality of those patients. Similarly, obstetrics improved, and we knew how to control, how to define, how to select patients who could deliver normally, and if they were in labor, when to stop and do cesarean section, or when to apply forceps. All these techniques, all these nuances were we learned with experience under the guidance of such senior doctors as Dr. Girja, Dr. Wazira Khanum, then came Dr. Mariana Saeed, and Dr. Sheila, Dr. Leela, and our department continued to improve under the guidance of all these doctors, and that is how we reached this stage. Now, you know, LD Hospital is doing wonderful work. We also introduced laparoscopy. Those days, laparoscopy was confined only to investigations of infertility or chronic pelvic pain. And then after that, we started doing laparoscopic camps in various villages in the hospital itself. Then Chittaranjan camp was those days, it is new for this generation, but we used to work a lot in Chittaranjan camp, doing surgical work, doing the laparoscopic camps, and improving the health work in different villages. Thank God that we have been able to help the patients in villages here in Srinagar and have reached to this place. And I am thankful to God that I am still working, although belonging to the first batch of medical college. It's quite a long time, but with God's grace, I am still able to practice. Last of all, although so much of has been said about Dr. Rumana, but I am thankful to her that she has been able to pen this book, which is appreciated by one and all. Everything has been said about it. I don't think I need to say more about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. On this special occasion, we are honored to be joined by a literary luminary who has made significant contributions in the field of Kashmiri literature. Besides being a reputed writer and a social worker, he is also a famous socio-cultural historian and a public intellectual. A proud author of 4 books and a chosen member of various literary committees and a recipient of numerous awards, Sir has been recently awarded with the Firak Memorial Award for the year 2023 for his outstanding contributions towards Kashmiri language and literature and devoted services towards Kashmiri society. Ladies and gentlemen, with a huge round of applause, can we invite on stage Mr. Zarif Ahmed Zarif to take us through the journey of evolution of medicine in Kashmir.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم معززین مجلس خواتین و حضرات مش باسان بس کوشر پٹ کت کران ہر جائے کیاز تات وجہ اس بحثیت قوم یہ کوشر زیو اس برکن آئی سی مز تو لہذا سان نائلان پوت ہیکان یہ بولتے نہ سمجھ یہ ماجی بولت ہیک تو بچہ کت ہیک بولت کہ قرض ون پس کوشر پٹ تہ مز ونکس مے باسان تلرن مز بومبر آمت خوشی چھم یم کت ہز یم زن تھی برو کن مے ساری یم ندرمت قومک سچنہ ہز خصیت تھوان ترس دیوان یمن حرکتس مز یتو کوشر امس 5,000 ورین ہز پن تاریخ روزمز یہ سٹھا شاندار ٲسمٕژ پتہ پر پدن تو لت موجہ گژھان 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 آز تان مانڈ اس آمت اس پن پان مشک گومت تمہ ون اس یم زن امس صاحبزاد یس اس ڈاکٹر رومانا مے امس ست وابستگی بابس ست روزمٕژ یم اکسی محلس مز روزان شہر کس شکمس مز روزان عٲلۍ کدلہٕ تو پتہ وٲتۍ أسۍ سلطان سندین پاین تل لہذا یمن ست وابستگی تو مے کوشر کہاوت فریز شر سند کیرن کچھ مز نیرن لہذا یس یہ خدا صٲبن کینٛہہ بیل پھل دیُتمُت آسان أمس چھُ یہِ پتہٕ جہار و بہار لبان تیٚلہِ ییٚلہِ أمس یِہوے ماحول تہِ یی باقی نتہٕ ووو أسۍ آرم وارِ منٛز ووو أسۍ کۄنٛگہٕ کُل لہذا تتھ چھُنہٕ سُہ فصل یُس زن پننس تتھ منٛز ییٖتس اگر کۄنٛگہٕ ڈوٗرِس منٛز آسہِ یِتھے کٔنۍ چھُ یتھ ماحولس منٛز اکھ ڈاکٹر بیٚیہِ آسُن پتہٕ کریٹو رایٹر یہِ چھُ گاڈز گفٹ اتھ انگریزیس منٛز ونان کٲشِر پٲٹھۍ چھِس ونان خۄدا صٲبٕنۍ نعمت یۄس یہِ دِژٕ تہٕ سُہ انہِ پتہٕ یہِ تحریرس منٛز بہٕ یُس ییٚمہِ گرُک چھُس تتھ گرس منٛز اوس اسہِ کٲشُر گرٕ یتھ منٛز واریاہ بٲژ ٲس آسان تیٚلہِ ٲس موج آسان شُرۍ فوج ہٮ۪تھ سۄ ٲس موج سجان لہذا زٕ ٲسۍ آسان ماتامال زٕ مامہٕ سٕنٛدِ زٕ ماسٕرۍ سٕنٛدِ 3 ہمساے ہٕنٛدۍ 2 دٔلِس تل نتیجہِ سۄ ٲس موج یس شُرٮ۪ن ہُنٛد فوج اوس کیازِ تِم گرٕ ٲسۍ بٔرۍ تتھ منٛز ٲس پیٚچٮ۪نۍ پۄپھ بٔے کاکٕنۍ پِتٕر بیٚنہِ موج نانۍ نتیجہِ تِم ٲسۍ گرٕ تِم روٗدۍ نہٕ وقتٕچ تبدیٖلی ما ہٮ۪کو رُکٲوِتھ مگر کٲشُر گوٚو مٔشِد مےٚ چھُ تۄہہِ سۭتۍ تہِ ونُن بہٕ چھُس سمٲجیاتس سۭتۍ وابستہٕ تُہۍ چھِو تمہِ سبجکٹٕکۍ یتھ منٛز انسانس زندگی حفاظت کرٕنۍ چھِ اگر تۄہہِ علاج کوٚروس پتہٕ دوا تہِ اوس گۄڈٕ گوٚو ڈایگنوز ڈاکٹرسٕے اہن سا ییٚمِس چھُ یہِ تکلیٖف پتہٕ لیوکھوس دوا سُہ گژھِ دوا دوہٕے آسُن نتہٕ چھو خبر اسہِ کیٛاہ چھُ یور واتان تمہِ پتہٕ گژھِ مریض پرہیز کرُن تیلی روز ڈاکٹرس تہ عزت تو دوہس تہ نیرِ تار تو تاثیر پن نت اگر یم دونوے چیز تہ معتبر آسن تم پتہ کر مریض ناپرہیز تات پوت اتھے کن گو زندگی مز ناپرہیز واریاہن معاملاتن مز تم کن چھس بہ عرض کران یم زن و سن ڈاکٹر گر نبر درائے اس گئی واریاہ وہی دن تو اس وقان یت کاشر پٲٹھۍ چھِ ونان پنن ڈاکٹرن گر دور روزن مے چھُ لیوکھمُت گر دور کٲشُر پوش زن پھۄلان گر دور کٲشُر پوش زن پھۄلان وۄپر تُلرِ چھس تُلان ویوٗر اسہِ ووت وونٛسا دچھِ رٔنٛڈ دلان اسہِ پھٔر رٲچھٕے وانہٕ ژوٗر لہذا سون چھُ پرٛزلان ییٚتہِ چھُ علاوٕ تہِ اگر آسہِ سُہ ژھٮ۪تہٕ گژھان ییٚتِچ تٮ۪مبٕر چھِ نیٚبرٕ تتھ چھُ علاوٕ بنان أمِس چھِ ذہانت رۄبن دِژمٕژ یہِ ییٚمہِ نگری یۄس یتھ کٲشُر پٔتھٕر خۄدا صٲبن حسیٖن تہٕ خوٗبصوٗرت بنٲومٕژ ٲس یہِ ٲسن اسہِ دسپوس بدل دِژمٕژ یِہوے روٚم پرٛٲٹۍ أسۍ أمسٕے ماجہِ کٔشیٖرِ کِہیٖنۍ تھوٚوُس نہٕ شناختُک باقٕے وۄنۍ ییٚمہِ کِنۍ أسۍ ونو یہِ چھِ کٔشیٖر سورُے گوٚو تبدیٖل لہذا تُہنٛز ذمہٕ دٲری ڈاکٹر مےٚ چھُ لیوکھمُت یِمن امہِ ڈاکٹر رومانا کورِ کوٚر اسہِ تحریری طور 7 ڈاکٹر مطلب ڈاکٹر چھُ سٲری اگو فہرست بناوُن بیٛاکھ گوٚو ڈاکٹرن تٔمۍ کیٛاہ چھِ کارکردگی پنٕنۍ کٔرمٕژ اسہِ چھُ وُنیُک تام بادشاہ کتھ صرف ڈاکٹر علی محمد جان صٲب مغفور مرحوٗم تُہُنٛد ونو بہٕ ذٲتی تہٕ پریکٹِک بادشاہ کتھ ونان چھُس نہٕ بہٕ کُنہِ جایہِ بہٕ ونہٕ تی ذٲتی زندگی منٛز مےٚ تجرُبہٕ چھُ بہٕ گوس خوتوٗنہِ أکِس سۭتۍ مےٚ اوس آفتابُک ایڈیٹر اوس مغفور مرحوٗم خواجہ ثناء اللہ صٲب یِمن زن وابستگی چھِ روٗزمٕژ ڈاکٹر وحیٖد صٲبس ڈاکٹر سلیٖم صٲب تہِ ٲسۍ تٔمِس نظر گُزر دِنہِ یِوان سُہ اوس قومُک اکھ توبرُک اکھ امانت اکھ تٔمۍ سٕنٛدی وساطت گوس بہٕ تٔمۍ کوٚر جان صٲبس فون دوٚپنس تتہِ اوس آسان بڑٕ کارِ دارد نمبر رٹُن دوٚپنس یہِ حظ چھُ مےٚ عزیٖز تہٕ گوس بہٕ أمِس خوتوٗنہِ سۭتۍ ڈاکٹر جان صٲب اوس تِمن دۄہن مگر مولنہِ صُبحس علاج کران تہٕ سلپ سوٗزُس مےٚ تہٕ اکھ زٕ پیشنٹ وٕچھِن تہٕ دوٚپنس سوزُن ییٚلہِ بہٕ ژاس یہِ خوتوٗن چھُ مےٚ سۭتۍ یس بہٕ سۭتۍ چھُس جان صٲبن ییٚلہِ بہٕ وٕچھُس مےٚ سُہ زانہِ ہے مےٚ سۭتۍ کوٚرُن خبرٕ خٲریت تہٕ پتہٕ پرٛژھنم بیٚیہِ تہِ کینٛہہ تہِ چھُم نہٕ وننٕچ ضروٗرت امہِ پتہٕ کھٲجِم کُرٕس پتھ پہن تہٕ کوٚڑُن سِگریٹ زولُن سِگریٹ چھُ مےٚ سۭتۍ کتھا کتھا أمِس ووٚنُن خوتوٗنۍ نظرا گُزرا پٮ۪ٹھ یِتھ کٔنۍ دوٗرِ یہِ چھِ 5-6 فُٹ أمِس دوٗر دوٚپنس کیٛوہو چھُے دوٚپنس دود حظ چھُم دوٚپنس کتھ چھُے دود دوٚپنس مےٚ حظ چھُ شاہ گۄبان ہیوٗ دوٚپنس اچھا تُہۍ چھُکھ چٮ۪وان دام کھنڈ سِگریٹس دِوان تہٕ پتہٕ چھُ مےٚ سۭتۍ کتھ کران منٛزٕ گٔے رژھا بیٚیہِ پرٛژھنس دوٚپنس ہتو مےٚ ووٚنُے نہ کیٛاہ چھُے کیٛوہو چھُے دوٚپنس دود حظ چھُم تہٕ بیٚیہِ کٔڑِن دام 2 دامہ دوٚپنس مےٚ مہ کر وقت ضایہِ مےٚ ووٚن سیوٚد ژےٚ کیٛاہ چھُے کٲڑِس دود ژےٚ چھُے نہٕ تکلیٖف کانٛہہ نہ وٕچھ تٔمۍ نایہِ نہ لٲجنس نہ وٕچھُن نبض یہِ سا ونان ڈاکٹر جان صٲبٕنۍ کرامٲتی رنگ تتھ کیٛاہ اوس پوٚت منظر تہِ تہِ چھُم بوٗزمُت ڈاکٹر جان صٲبنٕے چھُ خواجہ ثناء اللہس ووٚنمُت پنُن پوٚت منظر تہٕ دوٚپنس ون کیٛاہ چھُے ما کر مےٚ وقت ضایہِ دود نو چھُے نہٕ کِہیٖنۍ ژٕ ون ژےٚ کیٛاہ چھُے یہِ ؤژھٕس یورٕ دوٚپنس اسہِ حظ چھِ جاے کمٕے پہن یہِ سو پوٚز ونان خۄدا چھُ وٲحد شٲہِد دوٚپنس أکیاہ ووٚنُتھ دود یہِ گٔے میٲنۍ کٲم مےٚ ووٚنُن دوٚپُن ییٚمِس سۭتۍ کیٛاہ وابستگی چھے مےٚ ٲس وابستگی حظ چھم دوٚپُن أمِس کر مدد اتھ منٛز أمِس گژھِ کینٛہہ پٕلاٹھنا وٕلاٹھنا دوٚپُن مےٚ تہِ اگر سُفٲرِش آسہِ کرٕنۍ بہٕ تہِ کرے تتھ منٛز سُفٲرِش ییٚمِس ژلہِ یہِ دود امہِ سۭتۍ دوٚپنس اسہِ حظ چھِ پٔژھۍ ژٔرۍ یِوان اسہِ چھِ جاے کم پہن مےٚ حظ چھُ وِزِ تکلیٖف گژھان تمہِ سۭتۍ تہٕ دوٚپنس أکیاہ ووٚنُتھ وۄنۍ دود تہٕ لہذا کرٕ بہٕ علاج تتھ اینٹر سالٹ کِنہٕ کیٛاہ تام ٹیبلِٹ دوٚپُن یہِ گژھٮ۪س پھٔلۍ شامس دِنۍ باقٕے کانٛہہ دوا لیوٗکھنس نہٕ یہِ اوس جان صٲب اتھ کیٛاہ ؤنِو ڈاکٹر تُہۍ یہِ گوٚو اکھ رنگ دوٚیِم ونو حکیٖم یِم زن مےٚ تذکِرٕ کوٚرمُت چھُ یم زن تزام وچھان آسن میون بہ کیا چھس ونان تو بہ چھس یت نندر مت قومس پنس سٕژنہِ ترٛوٚس کران أسۍ کیٛاہ ٲسۍ اَسہِ کیٛاہ اوس اَسہِ کیٛاہ روو اَسہِ کیٛاہ چھُ وۄنۍ سانٮ۪ن لبنہِ نیرُن یِنہٕ والٮ۪ن یِمن پوٗتٮ۪ن پننٮ۪ن حکیٖم یِتھ کٔنۍ زن کول صٲبن ڈاکٹر صٲبن ووٚن اَمہٕ حکیٖم تہٕ بیٚیہِ اوس عزیز صٲبہِ حکیٖم بیٚیہِ اوس تمہِ وقتہٕ قٲدر صٲبہِ حکیٖم غلام رسوٗل کاش حکیٖم مےٚ چھُ وَنُن حکیٖم أمِس چھِ لۄگٲتی معنی چھُ حکیٖمس دانا زیٖرک تہٕ گاٹُل ڈاکٹر تھوٚمِس ابل کیٛازِ ڈاکٹرس ٲس حکیٖم سٕنٛدِ کھۄتہٕ سٮ۪ٹھاہ محنت کرٕنۍ ہُہ اوس آسان گٔریوٗ تہٕ رٮ۪وایتی بنان حکیٖم مٲلِس نِش بیٹھو بٲیِس نِش بیٹھو تتہِ ٲسۍ ییٚتہِ ما ٲسۍ اَسہِ میڈِکل یِم اَسہِ ٲسۍ نہٕ یوٗنٲنی کالیج یا سکوٗل تہٕ حکیٖم ڈاکٹر ییٚتہِ حکیٖم بنان اَمہٕ صٲبہِ حکیٖم یہِ اوس معروٗف کٔشیٖرِ ہُنٛد یَتھ زن پٔزۍ پٲٹھۍ ٲسۍ لُکمان ونان مےٚ چھِ زٕ چیٖز تٕہنٛدۍ وٕچھمٕتۍ بابس میٲنِس پِترس میٲنِس سۭتۍ اوسُس رٲبطہٕ ضٲبطہٕ بیٚیہِ گژھِ نہٕ ڈاکٹرٕے پرٛٮ۪تھ جایہِ آسُن ڈاکٹر گژھِ گرِ آسُن شُرٮ۪ن مول خانہٕ دار ہمسایس ہمساے دوستس دوس اگر یہِ ڈاکٹرٕے یوت روٗد تیٚلہِ چھُنہٕ یہِ زندگی حظ ہٮ۪کان تُلِتھ کینٛہہ یہِ چھُنہٕ ہٮ۪کان اٮ۪نجاے کٔرِتھ پنٕنۍ لایف یۄس زن غنیٖمت چھس آسان یہِ چھُنہٕ ہٮ۪کان تہِ تیٚلہِ کٔرِتھ کینٛہہ أمِس گژھِ زندگی ہُنٛد پرٛٮ۪تھ کانٛہہ شوبہٕ پھۄلُن شوٗبدار آسُن تہٕ ڈاکٹر گژھِ پٔزۍ پٲٹھۍ پرٛٮ۪تھ کٲنٛسہِ سۭتۍ تُہُنٛد رول تٔمِس سۭتۍ نزدیٖک کرُن ونُن چھُم ڈاکٹر گژھِ نہٕ یِتھ کٔنۍ پُلسہٕ افسر چھُنہ سۄ گرِ تہِ خانٛدارنِس سۭتۍ تہِ پُلسہٕ افسرٕے روزان پتہٕ چھِ سۄ رِٹایَر گٔژھِتھ گگر تھلس لاگناوان ہۄ گاڈٕ نتیٖجہٕ چھُ ڈاکٹر تہِ چھُ یِتھٕے کٔنۍ یہِ گژھِ برابر ڈاکٹر آسُن یہِ گژھِ سمجُن نفسِیٲتی رنگس منٛز بہٕ کیٛاہ چھُس تمہِ کِنۍ گژھِ ڈاکٹر صٲب مریضس ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ ڈیکہٕ مُژرِ ڈاکٹر صٲب نظر کرِ تٔمِس چھُ تشفی گژھان تتھ چھُ نفسِیٲتی اثر أمِس پٮ۪ٹھ پیٚران اَوٕ ییٚمِس ڈاکٹرس نِش بلہٕ بہٕ برٛونٛہِم ڈاکٹر ضِمنن ونہٕ بہٕ ییٚتہِ اوس ڈاکٹر علی محمد جانس صٲبس سۭتۍ لرِ لوٚر تمہِ ساتہٕ پکان ڈاکٹر کیپٹن علی محمد مغفور مرحوٗم سُہ اوس ہری سنگن سوٗزمُت ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ سیکنڈ ورلڈ وار ووت ییٚتہِ سُہ اوسُن سوٗزمُت یِمن برٹش آرمی ہٕنٛدٮ۪ن گۄرن علاج کرنہِ تٔمۍ یُس علاج تتہِ اوس کوٚرمُت تتھ منٛز ٲسۍ گۄرس سُہ انجکشن ٹھُکان یا روزِ ہے گۄرٕ نتہٕ انجکشن دۄیو منٛز اوس تٔمِس اکھ چیٖز آسان تھاوُن باقٕے پتہٕ ییٚلہِ یور آو کیپٹن علی محمد جان صٲب مےٚ چھُ تٔمِس سۭتۍ تہِ وابستگی روٗزمٕژ تہٕ تٔمۍ سُنٛد تہِ کیٛاہ اوس نارٕ یی یا روزِ بٮ۪مار نتہٕ بٮ۪مٲرۍ تہٕ سُہ اوس تمہِ ساتہٕ علاج کران یورٕ اوس جان صٲب یورٕ اوس کیپٹن علی محمد سُہ اوس 2 دۄہن منٛز تُلان انسانس سُہ اوس ٹرپل ڈوز ٹھُکان تٔمِس اکی ساتہٕ پتہٕ آیندٕ کیٛاہ آسہِ ہے سُہ زانان تہِ زانہِ خۄدا مگر یہِ اوس تمہِ ساتہٕ وقت شناس سُہ اوس تمہِ ساتہٕ کھڑا کران امہِ ٲسۍ تس تہِ گژھان سُہ اوس تمہِ وقتُک نفسِیٲتی کیٛازِ ییٚتہِ چھِ فٕرست وۄنۍ کم یہِ چھُ أمِس تُلُن یہِ چھُ ییٚتہِ ٲسۍ أسۍ کسب دارٕے زیادٕ تہٕ لہذا اوس تٔمۍ تہِ پنُن اکھ ناو تھوٚومُت بیٚیہِ ڈاکٹر اوس تمہِ ساتہٕ پرژھان کٲم کیٛاہ سا چھُکھ کران أزیُک ہٮ۪کہٕ نہٕ بہٕ تۄہہِ ؤنِتھ تہِ تُہۍ کیٛاہ ؤنِو آز چھُ پونٛسہٕ یِوان واریاہ لہذا چھُنہٕ سۄ کتھ کینٛہہ وۄنۍ پرژھِس کٲم تیٚلہِ اوس حکیٖم تہِ پرژھان کٲم کیٛاہ چھُکھ کران ییٚتٮ۪ن سنگتر ضروٗرت آسہِ ہے اگر حظ دپ بہٕ حظ چھُس رفگر کٲم کران بہٕ چھُس جالک دوٗز دپُس مُجہِ بٔدٮ۪ن گژھن اوس سنگترس سُہ مُتبادل کران یہِ اوس حکیٖم مےٚ چھُ عرض کرُن مٲلِس سۭتۍ گوس بہٕ تہٕ أمۍ ووٚننس یہِ چھُ دارِ پٮ۪ٹھ اَمہِ سبہِ حکیٖم تہٕ کوچہِ کِنی دِژٕن نظر تہٕ وٕچھُن مول میون دوٚپنس کیٛاہ سا دٔلیٖل دوٚپنس مےٚ حظ گٔے بے خٲبی 2-3 دۄہ گٲم نِندٕر چھم نہٕ یِوان کینٛہہ دوٚپنس زٲنہٕ کٔدلہٕ اننٲوزِ اَسہِ اوس پتھر مٔشیٖد کارخانہٕ سٕژنہِ کامہِ ہُنٛد دوٚپنس مُجہِ بٔتۍ جورا اننٲوزِ پٔترِ ہِنٛدۍ کھیزِ تہٕ مُجہِ ژیٚٹِس سۭتۍ کھیزِ شامس بتہٕ بہٕ چھُس أمِس سۭتۍ مٲلِس تو ام ان موجود بہت سکول وکول وغیرہ تو پگہ نیونس بی پانس سی تھپ کرت وات حکیم نس ات کوچس مز تو یہ دائر پہ تو دسنس نظر دس کیا سا دلیل دس نیندر حس کرم مگر زکام کورنم دس زکام بند گومت تمی ست کر نیندر ام حکیم صبن کور مجبری سن علاج پتھری سڑک شاپی نہ فیس اندر تو نہ نبز وچن یہ گو حکیم صاحب ام صاحب حکیم مے وونمت یہ معروف تو معتبر حکیم علی صاحب گوجواریک یہ مے دوستس سہ مے حکیم منظور صاحب مغفور مرحوم دوست تو استاد تہ سہ اردو تو کاشر بوٹ بار اخ قلمکار تم سن مال مے وونمت دپن یل بہ حکیم بنیوس تم پتھر مشی تہ روزان اخ تس مول حکیم حب صاحب بیس بوے مام صاحب تمن مز یہ حکیم بنیومت دپن بہ ہسا دراس پھیر حکیم یہ سا تمہ وقت اخ معتبر تاجر تس احد صاحب ناٹہ ونان نواب بازر امس کورن تکلیف سہ تمہ وقت ایکسپورٹر امس کورن تکلیف تو یم آئے ام صاحب حکیمس یہ آور یہ دون بجن تان ہیکان کلنک پنہ مز نیرت کی دس بہس آور بہ ہیکہ یہ 2 بج پتہ 3 بج یم گئی یتس کالس حب صاحب حکیمس تم سوز علی صاحب حکیم پن لکٹ نیچو پتہ وون مے تم یہ بزرگی مز دپن یل بہ اور ووتس ات ہسا وچ مے ات صاحب ناٹس وچ مے نبز تو امس لیوکھ مے نسخہ حکمت کے لحاظ یہ مے ڈائگنوز گو اور ہسا یل بہ ووتھس تو بن کن ام صاحب حکیم پنس ٹانگس پہ آوی تو مے کرس سا برو کن گوسس دپنم کیا سا دلیل دتس نظر دپس اہن دپس ول مے ست کھس امس دمو نظر ے کیا بہ وچ کیا چھس لیوکھمت یہ کھوت امس سی دپن بہ ییٚلہِ ہیوٚر ووتُس أمۍ وٕچھ میون نُسخہٕ اتھ ہسا کٔرِن 2 بیٚیہِ ایڈ تہٕ اتھ ہسا لیوکھ أمۍ مۄختہٕ دانہٕ 2 ٲس گژھان اتھ پھٕٹجہِ تراوٕنۍ شربت سۭتۍ پیرل یتھ ونان چھِ مۄختہٕ پھٔلۍ 2 دوٚپُن ییٚمہِ ساتہٕ أمۍ یِم لیوکھ یِمن تہٕ أمِس ہسا دِژ یِمو تمہِ وقتہٕ رۄپے فیس تہٕ مےٚ ٲسِکھ دِتمٕتۍ 8 آن أسۍ ییٚلہِ ؤتھۍ تہٕ أمۍ ووٚن مےٚ وَلہٕ بہٕ ترٛاوَتھ مان ژٕ یِم ٲسۍ أکسٕے محلس منٛز دوٚپُن بۄنہٕ کَنہِ ووٚننم دوٚپنم یہِ ژےٚ نُسخہٕ اوسُتھ أمِس ڈایگنوز کوٚرمُت یی اوس أمِس تکلیٖفس علاج تہِ مگر یہِ چھُ خۄجہِ أمِس تہِ یی ہا پونٛڈسٕے یہِ پھٕٹٕج أمِس باسے نہٕ تَمہِ سۭتۍ مےٚ گوٚو خۄجہِ علاج کینٛہہ اتھ تھٲے مےٚ أمِس مۄختہٕ پھٔلۍ 2 یِم یِنس رۄپیہِ أمِس باسہِ خۄجہِ علاج گوٚو مےٚ یہِ بلے تمی سۭتۍ تیٚلہِ یہ ٲسۍ خیال تھاوان یِمن چیٖزن ہُنٛد امی کیٛاہ ووٚنُکھ حکیٖم گوٚو دانا زیٖرک تہٕ گاٹو یِم ٲسۍ اَسہِ حکیٖم باغہِ آمٕتۍ مےٚ چھُ تِہُنٛد تذکرٕ کوٚرمُت مگر بہٕ چھُس آرل ہسٹری ونان کیٛازِ سٲنۍ شُرۍ نہ چھِ ہٮ۪کان وۄنۍ کٲشُر پٔرِتھ نہ لیکھِتھ نہ بوٗزِتھ تمہِ کِنۍ چھُس بہٕ وۄنۍ کنہٕ کِنۍ أمِس واتناوان اَسہِ کیٛاہ چھُ مےٚ چھُ پننٮ۪ن ڈاکٹرن ہُنٛد تذکرٕ کوٚرمُت کم کم ڈاکٹر ٲسۍ یتھ منٛز اَسہِ موٗجوٗد ڈاکٹر صٲب چھِ بہٕ چھُس اکہِ دۄہن یونیورسٹی منٛز چھُ اَسہِ بیٚیہِ یِتھ کٔنۍ زن اَسہِ ییٚمِس وحیٖد صٲبس مِزاج چھُ ادبی سلیٖم صٲبس چھُ ادبی مِزاج یہِ چھُ اَسہِ یِمن ادبی مجلسن منٛز تہِ یِوان گوٚو أمِس چھُ باسان نہ یتھ گُلستانس منٛز یِم پوش چھِ پرٛٮ۪تھ کُنہِ پزِ پوشس مُشک ہیوٚن تمہِ لحاظ چھُ أمۍ سُنٛد دٮ۪ماغ تہِ پھۄلان تمہِ سۭتۍ وحیٖد صٲبس چھِ سانٮ۪ن وۄستاد شٲعرن ہِنٛز نظمہٕ یاد تہٕ غرض یِم چیٖز وننس منٛز چھُ غرض یُتُے یہِ گژھِ ڈاکٹر آسُن آل راونڈر اتھ لحاظس منٛز تہِ یہِ چھُ کٲفی وقتس پران أمِس چھِ سٮ۪ٹھاہ ڈاکٹری پرُن چھُ اکھ کاہے دارد قٕصہ اکھ مگر تُہۍ وٕچھِو مِزاجن یۄس یہِ اوس آسان یُس اَسہِ لاٹ چھُ ڈاکٹرن ہُنٛد یِم زن فالکانز یِمن أسۍ ونو یِم شاہیٖن بنے یِمے ییٚتہِ درٛاے تہٕ یِم چھِ پروازس منٛز تہٕ یِم کیٛازِ گٔے معروٗف تِمن اوس مِزاجس منٛز أسۍ بنہو ڈاکٹر پتہٕ کۭژاہ چھِ محنت اتھ پٮ۪ٹھ کرٕنۍ آز چھُ مےٚ وٕچھ پرُس آوُٹ لُک چھُ اکھ میگزیٖن یِوان آوُٹ لُکس منٛز اوس لیکھِتھ Bangladesh's mans hasa chhe teez gurbat tatken muzafatan mans hasa kensan districtn chhe tatche khotun 10 pin 12 pin divan pat se chhe tim bache watan 20 30 yimon chhe kanan patim arbiyan teez chhe gurbat tat gurbat kis Bangladesh's mans chhe kais bache panin sozan 20 lakh 30 lakh divan yim chhe docteri mol hevan tat mulkas mans yeti ye hal chu gurbatu ta advance kota aista tu zehen netiji doctor gachi by nature ye gachi temis fitratas mans asun au bochus docteri yasan karin banha doctor az chu kununi man wanan petim cheese basa ban engineer ye chu mol hevan ye baban doctor 50 lakh 60 lakh petchu Bangalore mans az seat hevan mol che hevan as docteri pat koota anisu understand tanha tamkin mas pat doctor rozan yimon chizan hunchu asin yimon chizan hunchu khayal thavun vain yim Dr. Faruk sab sitin chumero tururmu me os arz karu Yusuf Sabos University hindis mushairas mans me won taite tukas pannis mans bujar zanun chupos manun hargis bujar zanun chupos manun hargis nagam se no banun pranun hargis vakat khaja khazar zanu chutsanu vanda sat lozimui hanun hargis yuchu bujar yuchu tiran thok khalun te bihon gari punjas maz kitchenas maz te pat nosh vanan nazir chumasan nat ke chas bkhavan lal sab chunu thodui votan tert sab az chuna badal navti garis doctor sugachi yim cheez zan godpan doctor harkatas maz doctor ma chu retire gatsan master ma chu retire gatsan kalam kar fuqtgi maz yivan temi zindagi hin tajruba agar qabuliyat gayas tim vartavnas maz tem chu qomas tamuk foyda yivan nat chu yiman cheezan hun me chu yokumut sokat bechar kar bozin tajizan khayalan hizi gangal ma tajizan sunut aravit sek shot sagvit man parivari kosak thur pujizan lihaza az chun waqt kalam karasti manzinaman hind zul ratin zulf khaman maz pan gandum jami jaman maz mahfilan maz yun azim waqt challenge tim gatsan özkis writers asin challenge book timan gats timan per sukat karun garz tuhiyat hospitals maz isutkes ch mechuyum phalun phaplun te deslabu uchmut bosus ukes Dr. Khoru Savas manan yahos basan barabar 5-star hotel tam satan saf shoes te be kya hos azmat yemich tam waqt kam Dr. Sav te asiyat maz yimogi yat rangastan bunkanus yat halat che te yugo sasun bunkanus tam khota asiglasn soparejeni asin ke moncha ahvarın maz buchan yat kasa ojizi che gomtsu to mechu arz karun yi doctor yuzun chu son doctor yuchu par jayi prazalan tetkam yetken doctorun chu buchin pevan granzros mariz tat chus doz asan yi patient chemis buchin tami chun pat Europe doctor yus pat nyabar chu gasa su chun pat vapas or phirit hakani tat kis maholas mos su adjust gasa pat yus tas nasl timti gay tor ki ye chu aksar womucha muhtaj lachar te lagar mal majid athas na thap karan wol timan ka timan chh bam mol hasa chu bemar mol che bemar sustor pos sozan agar patsa govram ke hat a barabar ke jo shado 7 do 5 do vazman le jos barabar magar me bani chuti ki lihaza gay aise biman kokirapta drayim badat puit yim gay nal ab kin voit ter apoymus at bankas per apoymus guzras pert ne tej torchin vapas pera magar tati chaisi koshir prazalavantim Faruk Khan sabas chungumut mulakat yetiti classmate roodmut Dr. Mufti Altaf Sahab yus zan bachan hund doctor chu te tat siten paran Islamic High School yukot tatik ustad esi Anglish po lecture divan kashir po tes pat fikri taran netije azdan beyin osne sirf लगातार सिलेबस योत वनान कि तथ मज तम बाकी चीजन हज जानकारी करान यह जन जहनस मज रूद यस यह किताब वन आज तहरीरी तौर डॉक्टर रुमानन पेश कर यह मे बासान यह काबिल मुबारक तह तारीखी रंगस मज यह अत वन कलम मज यह द्राव सह सदक़े जारिया तह रोजान तोशे आखरत तह रोजान Allah Ta'ala करिन अमिस कबूलियत अत मज तो यम डॉक्टर ये यमन दीन मौला सह वकूफ तो सह सलाहियत तथ कौमस यम बकार इन कौमस बकार बाकी यह जन रावान तह लबन नेरुन सान शुरन वन अगर आज तमिच वुद्रय थवो बहाव तम किन हेकि यह कौम बे संभलित तो खुलित फांफलित वंद चलि शीन गलि गई बहार इंशाअल्लाह रहमान व आखिर दावाना अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
Thank you very much, sir. Moving on to a person whose name is synonymous with brilliance in our nation and the contemporary scientific sphere. He is a seamless blend of knowledge with a remarkable research acumen that has fetched him numerous national as well as international accolades. Ladies and gentlemen, let us warmly welcome on stage Professor Parvez Kaur, Director Skins and ex-officio Secretary to the government, to share a few words.
Thank you so much. After having listened to luminaries like Zarif Saab, my legend, my teacher, Professor Yusuf Saab, it's really difficult for me to continue. A lot of appreciation has been made by Dr. Sajjad, Dr. Ijaz about Dr. Rumana's tremendous work about these warriors and falcons, and as a writer of as an author of more than 500 articles, I know what it takes to write a small 5-page article, 6-page article, and to do a research based on 100 varied individuals about whom you do not have every account available in the contemporary internet, and you have to sift through history and probably also contact people as to know everything about those people. It's a tremendous effort, and I must laud Dr. Rumana for her tremendous work. She has been a brilliant colleague who not only is one of the important foundation stones for our Department of Pathology, but has actually transformed the Department of Blood Transfusion as well. Our blood transfusion takes pride in having been accredited with some of the leading accrediting agencies, and our compatibility with any standards is more than 100%. It's always 100%. I would also make a mention of Professor Farooq Khan. Everybody, Dr. Rafiq Pampuri said a lot about him. I have been one of the beneficiaries of his tremendous work for the upliftment of medical colleagues in Kashmir. And I received an ACP fellowship. It was certainly supported by Professor Farooq Khan. And I am myself grateful to him for having facilitated my American College of Physicians fellowship in pulmonary medicine in Long Island, in North Shore Hospital. Dr. Arifa invited me to her residence in Jericho, Long Island, many times during that period, and I could see the host in her, and the brilliant work and the tremendous zeal they had to help the Kashmiris back home. Dr. Farooq Khan took a short stint in Riyadh and worked in probably King Fahd or King Faisal Hospital, where he saw to it that there was a program which was devised for nurses of this place. And lots of nurses went to Riyadh, got trained, got sponsored, got trained, and came back to improve the nursing landscape of this place. I went for the Nuba conference in Medina, and which was all expense paid conference by the Medina. I think there's a district or directorate, and had the opportunity of meeting the king of that place that time. So coming to the book, I mean, Kashmir we know has its breathtaking landscapes, rich culture, tapestry. It's a place of immense beauty, complex narratives though. And behind the serene facade, there are individuals who selflessly dedicate their lives to the well-being of others, often facing adversity with courage and grace. The book is a tribute to these people, who are the doctors, whose stories deserve to be shared and celebrated. As we delve into the pages of the book, we embark on a journey that goes beyond medical diagnoses and treatment plans. We encounter narratives of sacrifice, triumph over adversity, and a profound impact of compassionate care. Each biography encapsulates the essence of these doctors, their struggles, their triumphs, and the deep connections forged with the people they serve. In a word, as Zarif Sir was saying, that emphasizes the impersonal aspects of medicine. The book brings forth the human side of healthcare. It reminds us that behind every white coat is a person with dreams, with fears, and a genuine desire to make a positive impact on the lives of others. These stories serve as a bridge connecting the community with the healers who walk amongst them. The book offers a unique perspective on the cultural and societal dynamics of Kashmir. Through the lens of these doctors, we gain insight into the challenges they have faced, the cultural nuances and the shapes that shape their practice, and the collective strength of a community that rallies around the ethos of compassion and care. I may not totally agree with the compartmentalization that Dr. Rumana has actually alluded to, dividing people into falcons, the legions, because the margins are very lazy. A falcon goes into a warrior goes into a legion, and so these are very arbitrary, and she is entitled to a semantics that she devised. Actually, as an author, she has that luxury. The fact of the matter is that all those people were encompassed there, and many, many more, as I just said, that could not be contained within a single frame. There are very many stories, and they all have done tremendously, contributing to the landscape of the healthcare in Kashmir. From what Zarif Saab said about people being treated by just asking them questions off the window of a kocha, to the modern medicine that's being practiced here. Kashmiri medicine has come a long way, and it is these people who have contributed significantly to this change. And I must congratulate Professor Rumana and Professor Farooq Khan for having embodied the achievements of these 100 individuals, at least, in this compendium, which is a gripping read. I've been one of the fortunate recipients of one of the first copies of the book, and I thank Dr. Rumana for that. It is a gripping read for the youngsters because it will certainly serve as an inspiration for them. Looking at the biographies of people who are around them, and many of them are not amongst us now anymore, but nonetheless, their stories are there to be read about, and a lot of them inspire you to emulate them, what they did in various phases of medicine, be it teaching, be it research, be it the societal work, the social work. I am deeply impressed with the work Dr. Rumana has done. I must commend the authors and everyone involved in bringing this project to fruition. Your dedication to preserving these narratives is not only a literary achievement, but also a contribution to the broader tapestry of our shared human experience. They say that a good book is replaced by only one thing. That's the next one. We look forward to a next one for you, Rumana. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Can we please request you to stay on stage? I would also like to request Professor Bilkis Jamila, Professor Mohammad Yusuf, and Professor Rumana Makhdoomi to kindly join Professor Parvez Kaur on stage for the book release. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations, Dr. Rumana. There's a famous saying that you can take the Kashmiri out of Kashmir, but you cannot take the Kashmir out of a Kashmiri. It is the pure love that makes a person staying miles away still feel connected to this place. Such is the state of Professor Farooq Khan, who, despite living in the United States, to stay connected with his fellow people. He has personally guided and mentored many young Kashmiri doctors who were trying to establish themselves in the West. He has time to time sponsored short-term fellowships for Kashmiri doctors with the motive of improvising healthcare in Kashmir. Grateful we are to Sir for taking time out from his busy schedule and co-authoring this book with Professor Rumana Makhdoomi. We don't have Sir present here with us today, but there's a special message that he wanted to share with everyone. So can we please have the video played?
Salam, greetings from New York. I'm so happy to share a few words with you on this great occasion, the launch of the book, Warriors and Falcons. I heard about this book first in 2016, and it's taken Dr. Rumana Makhdoomi over 7-8 years to put it all together. I thank her for the great effort, her perseverance, and her passion for the project. Congratulations, Rumana. As far as the book Warriors and Falcons, I'm greatly thankful and appreciative of all the warriors who stayed behind in Kashmir in spite of many obstacles and contributed to the welfare and health of the community. And reading through the book, the accomplishments of many of the warriors is just remarkable. Thank you and bless you. I played a small role in identifying the Falcons, the ones who flew away from Kashmir, and identified 19 of them in the United States who are profiled in the book. And it's remarkable what those folks have accomplished, worth the read and greatly inspiring. The impact the book has had on me. First of all, I learned so much about some of my teachers. I learned so much about the people who came even before them and how the roots of the healthcare system were established after the missionaries left. And I never thought that the day would come when I would be in a position to speak about the GMC. I was in the first batch in 1959, and little did I realize that many years later I'd be addressing the numerous accomplishments and contributions of the GMC alumni, not just in Kashmir, but all over the world. So great credit to the founders of the medical school. I was particularly touched by the profile of Dr. Erna Hart, a Swiss psychiatrist who spent almost her lifetime in developing the healthcare in Kashmir. And just a final few thoughts. I shared the book with some of my contemporaries, and one, Dr. Panasha, a graduate from Bombay, said, Dr. Khan, I wish somebody from our school had taken this great initiative. So that's an example of the impact. And also I shared it with our congressman, Tom Swazi, just to share with him how a small group of physicians from Kashmir who came to America as immigrants have made contributions in the healthcare, in improving the healthcare of the country. And finally, my request and encouragement for the younger people to pick up the project, write, and publish. These are historical events which develop from such initiatives, which have an impact into generation. So good luck, thank you, Jazakallah khair. Salam, greetings from New York.
Thank you and congratulations once again to Professor Rumana and Professor Farooq Khan. Moving ahead, behind each enthralling book is a dazzling mind, and that is none other than the author. The author of this book, Professor Rumana Makhdoomi, with her skill, perseverance, and immense passion for storytelling, has woven a tapestry of words that promises to acquaint its readers with the evolution of healthcare system in Kashmir and the significant contribution made by Kashmiri doctors in trying to build and frame a standard healthcare system for the population. Dr. Rumana had published her first book in the year 2013, which was titled White Man in Dark, and exactly 10 years later, she's here back again with yet another masterpiece. Before we delve into the essence of the book, we would like to be honored to hear from her the thoughts, inspirations, and the journey that led to the creation of this masterpiece. Without dallying, ladies and gentlemen, the star of today, can we please, with a huge round of applause, invite on stage Professor Rumana Makhdoomi.
Assalamu alaikum. Professor Khuru Sahab, Professor Wahid Sahab, Professor Yusuf Sahab, Professor Latif Sahab, Professor Shabir Iqbal Sahab, Professor Tariq Sahab, and Mr. Zarif Ahmed Zarif Sahab, Professor Qadri Sahab, my dear Madam, Professor Bilkis. I'm so thankful to you all for coming here to listen and to know what I have written about. I'm especially thankful to Dr. Parvez Kaul, who let me hold this event here. Thank you very much, sir. I wanted to know what a legend looks like and what he does. So when I came to the hall early in the morning, I saw a woman who had come exactly at 10 o'clock to attend to this function. And if she is not legend, who else is the legend? Thank you, Dr. Bilkis. Thank you, madam. So, can we have the lights off, please? So, I'll be talking about the bio sketches of 100 outstanding doctors, and that's what my book is about. Warriors and Falcons. From Hakims, barbers, and peers, through the missionaries to the indigenous doctors, it was a long and a difficult path. There were Neve brothers, Dr. Arthur Neve, and Dr. Ernest Neve. They were heroes. They served at a time when there was darkness all around. The difficult terrain and the challenging weather did not deter them from their mission. But they told their stories about us and about our healthcare. They told it to the world. These are some of the books which have been written by these legendary physicians who worked here, surgeons who worked here. But we also told their and our stories. There is this paper by Dr. Nisar Mir, Inspirational People and Care for the Deprived Medical Missionaries in Kashmir. And there is this book by Dr. Gulzar Mufti, which analyzes the work that the missionaries have done in Kashmir. The post-missionary era was a challenge too. Kashmiri doctors were taking charge and tackling crises and epidemics. The contributions of these doctors have largely gone unwritten. I collected 100 characters from our medical world and put it in a book form. And so this book, it traces a sacred path to the present day. my attempt to write has limits. So I begin with a disclaimer. All the doctors who are outlined in the book are great, but all great Kashmiri doctors are not a part of the book. So errors and omissions are expected. So this is my disclaimer, and I start with it. A walk through the medical history of Kashmir. At the gate, you will find two doctors. One is Dr. Gashlal Kaul and another is Dr. G.L. Vaishnavi. Dr. Gashlal Kaul was the first physician specialist, the first MRCP. However, he was believed to be a Qalandar. He liked to be in the company of peers and fakirs. And he believed in local remedies. It said that he cured some of the vitamin deficiencies by prescribing many green leafy vegetables and other things. Dr. G.L. Vaishnavi, he was a surgeon and an ENT specialist. He served as Director General Health Services, and he even headed jails. And there is not a department which he did not head. And how did I come to know about Dr. Gashlal Kaul? It was through his son. He has written a book, When My Valley Was Green. He is Kanwar K. Kaul. He is a pediatrician. He is around 90 years of age and he lives in Jabalpur. I wrote to him, but he did not respond. But later on, Dr. Alakban, I'm thankful to him, he contacted him and he responded, and thus I got the whole information from him. Dr. Gashlal Kaul and Dr. G.L. Vaishnavi, they were contemporaries, but they were said to be rivals too. This is Dr. Vaishnavi and this is Dr. Gashlal Kaul. There is a book titled Niyari Yade by Mr. Arif Beg, and he has dedicated one entire chapter to Dr. Gashlal Kaul. And he has written that Gashlal Kaul, he was a Darwish type. And he has written that वो मुझसे शफकत भी करता था, मेरी गज़लों का शेदाई भी था. This is the biography, the CV of Dr. G.L. Vaishnavi. I got this from his great-granddaughter, that's Pragnya Vaklu. She's an artist. She sings. And I approached her through Facebook. She had posted a photograph of her great-grandfather. And I requested her for this. And look at the family, how nicely they have preserved these things about their great-grandfather. And then we talk about Dr. Ali Muhammad Jan, the legend of legends. And Dr. Ali Muhammad Jan, I don't think any doctor who knows medicine, he will like to talk about him. He knows what Dr. Jan is. But there has been a very fine description of Dr. Ali Jan. It is, I did not see him performing any miracles, but I saw perfection in him. He was a keen listener, a keener observer, quick-witted, highly initiative, and he possessed that extra sense, the common sense that made him a miracle man. And this description is by Dr. K.L. Chaudhary. Dr. K.L. Chaudhary has written a book, My Medical Journey. There are excellent points on hypertension, trigeminal neuralgia, and the dress code of doctors. And he has given beautiful case descriptions about various common and uncommon disease. And there is a feast about this legend, Dr. Ali Jan. I would recommend that you read Dr. Chaudhary. It's available free on the internet. Dr. Chaudhary says that the prescription of Dr. Ali Jan used to be preserved with his patients like amulets. So this is the prescription of Dr. Ali Jan dated 11/3/83. So if a prescription survives for 40 years and is held sacred, the doctor ought to be great. Then there was Colonel Saligran Cole, or Colonel Cole as he was called, an excellent academician, highly disciplined. He served as a principal of GMC and Directorate of Health Services. Any guesses? Yeah, he's Dr. Ghulam Rasool, and this part is missing. Anyone? How would we replace this part?
I'll try to get it.
So there was Dr. Girdari Lal Kaul. So he was a contemporary. I did not get his picture. That's why I kept it blank.
And Girdari Lal, they used to come on the bicycle.
So this is the master clinician and teacher of teachers, Dr. Ghulam Qadir Alakaban, who has inspired generations of physicians in Kashmir. These are the legends in one frame. They were excellent clinicians, extraordinary teachers and surgeons of repute. The common denominator that defined them was the return to the homeland after being trained in the West. They got LORs from the best institutions of the world. This is an LOR of Dr. Zahoor from the University of Pennsylvania, and this is Dr. Duncan, who is one of the famous pulmonologists. There were women warriors too. They broke the ice. Dr. Mahmooda Khan, she was the professor and head of the Department of Surgery from 1980 to 83. She did her FRCS in 1967, and her top students, they call her Rose because she had excellent teaching skills and artistic surgical craft. This slide I have borrowed from Dr. Fazil. The women warriors, they broke the stereotypes and gave their best to medicine. This is Dr. Zubaida Jilani. The first batch students who graduated from GMC, they startled the world. This is Dr. Farooq Khan, this is Dr. Arfa Khan, and this is our dear madam, Dr. Bilkis. And then the trend continued. Inspiring teachers, they played a role. Professor Yusuf and Professor J. Singh. Dr. Fazli, Dr. Durrani, and Dr. Said. Very humble, down to earth, and very good teachers. There were some excellent diagnosticians also. Dr. A.R. Khan. There were some brilliant clinicians. Dr. Sethi. And I was surprised that Dr. Sethi was the first doctor who had an MBBS and MD honors from All India Institute of Medical Sciences. This is Dr. Manzoor. And Dr. Manzoor, he served the Department of Ophthalmology so well that people from all over India would come and they would get trained in SMHS hospital. GMC went through disasters also. And brave ones, they secured it to the shores. The birth of SKIMS, it offered tertiary care services, but it stimulated research. There is an inspiring story of Professor Kuhn. And he did an excellent research on hydatidosis, biliary ascariasis, peptic ulcer, and hepatitis. And he published his work in the best rated journals of the world. And going back to Dr. Chaudhary, there is an interesting case of subdural hematoma in SMHS hospital. It is done by a young surgeon because nobody else wanted to take the risk and nobody else wanted to do it. All shipped from operating it. And this was done by Dr. Abdullah Guru, who went on to become a dynamic CVTS surgeon. This is Dr. Ashai with him. And Dr. Ashai was instrumental in establishing the Bone and Joint Hospital, and unfortunately, both met the same fate. SCIMD offered advanced life-saving procedures, transplants, microvascular surgeries, advanced GI surgeries. It tackled emergencies and enriched. The heroes emerged who enriched the literature with newer concepts and conclusions. This is Dr. Rishi. Dr. Malik, sorry, Dr. Malik. SCIMS did take a lead in research. The job was very well done. All these great men you find here. But the turmoil shook us all. It challenged our healthcare. Besides, the physical ailment caused an epidemic of psychiatric diseases. The psychiatric care in Kashmir is a gift by Dr. Arna Hawk, the Swiss psychiatrist who turned a Pagalkhana into a psychiatric hospital. Her contributions are unparalleled. She's written a book, The Madhouse at the Lotus Lake. The book describes her struggles against the odds. Her work deserves recognition. And I think it should be a part of the curriculum. Then she was followed by a gentleman psychiatrist who was at the helm in a difficult hour, Dr. Bay. His untimely death left much to be done. And there is an extraordinary psychiatrist under whose guidance the government psychiatric hospital was transformed into an institute of mental health and neurosciences in hands. And he did research on OCN and PTSD and proposed innovative models for behavioral therapy. Dr. Mushtaq Margoo. Elsewhere in India, Kashmiri doctors are doing great work. There is Dr. Anil Ban, there is Dr. Murtaza Chesti. This is the table published in Indian Journal of Thoracic and Cardiovascular Surgery, and it lists the 10 transplants, the cardiac transplants that have happened in India. And out of these 10, 2 are by Kashmiris, one by Dr. Anil Ban and another by Dr. Murtaza Chesti. We need to feel proud. There is an achiever from New York who's authored the last segment, Dr. Farooq Khan. I was a beneficiary of 3 consecutive awards from his foundation for the best essay on healthcare when I was a student at GMC. He introduced my first book to NRKs and purchased around 100 copies. He has a role in making me an author. And as has Dr. Rafiq Pampuri Sahab. I'm indebted to both these for making me an author. I would not have written had they not helped me. Of the non-resident Kashmiri doctors, this one Dr. Muhammad Ashraf Mia, he reached US with just $8 in hand. He became a CVTS surgeon in Boston and established himself as one of the best bypass surgeons. At Nassau County and Buffalo, we had two giants. One is Dr. Farooq Khan and another is Dr. Khalid Jahangir Qazi. They led from the front and helped Kashmiri doctors establish themselves in the US. There are cardiologists of repute. Dr. Fayaz Shawl, Dr. P.K. Shah. Dr. Fayaz Shawl, he has come up with his own technique, innovative technique, Shawl's technique. And Dr. P.K. Shah has done commendable research on atherosclerosis. Kashmiri women doctors are making us proud too. This is Dr. Arfa Khan and this is Dr. Tanveer Mir. In UK also, Kashmiri doctors are making us proud. This is Dr. Ghulam Jilani Mufti and this one is Uwais Jilani. He has received OBE, that is Order of the British Empire, because he has done an excellent work on MDS. He's a hematologist of repute, possibly the best hematologist in the world. And this Dr. West, he is also a son of the soil and he operates craniopagus. That means when two heads are joined together, he is the one who frees them. These are long, tiring surgeries and he does a lot of good work. There are other facets of doctors. We should get inspired. This is Dr. Khurshid Guru, son of Dr. A.A. Guru. He's a robotics surgeon who sponsors scores of Kashmiri doctors for advanced training in the US, and he created a museum on Kashmir depicting arts and crafts near Niagara Falls. We should also get inspired from this doctor, Dr. Hamid Ali Durrani Sahab. He is a physician born in UP, served in GMC Srinagar, but continues to live in Kashmir because he loves Kashmir. His paintings. At this age, I took them and I adored my book with his paintings. We should also get inspired by a brilliant ENT surgeon who's a teacher and an author too. He's looking after these disabled and specially abled children. We should also get inspired from Dr. Nagpal, who founded SKIMS. And I would like to tell you, do you know who are the most regretful people in this world? The most regretful people, this is for our younger colleagues, the most regretful people on earth are those who felt the call to creative work, who felt their own creative power restive and uprising, and gave it neither power nor time. अच्छा आदमी या अच्छा डॉक्टर बनने की जिम्मेदारी को अच्छे निजाम की आमद तक मुअत्तल नहीं रखा जा सकता. Thank you very much. I would like to thank my mother who's come all the way for Dr. Wahid wants to speak a few words.
respected colleagues, teachers, students, and friends, my spiritual guide, Janab Ejaz Kakru Sahab, Zarif Ahmed Zarif Sahab. I too wanted to write a book on doctors, but I could not. Actually, Himsa Dr. Elijan Guzro, editor Aftab Sanawala Aftab Unne, selected Dr. Elijan Aspat Mazmun. Known Sanawala Sarva Dumus Kyasam, Wali Havas Lake, Mankia Yakbar, Dobunna Chilyak. उन्होंने इसरार किया और मैंने एक खासा लंबा मजमून तहरीर किया। ख्वाजा सनाउल्लाह भट्ट ने उस मजमून को नुमायां जगह देकर शाया किया। उनको मेरे मजमून का इब्तिदाई पैराग्राफ, ओपनिंग पैराग्राफ बहुत पसंद आया था, जो मैंने डॉक्टर एलिजान साहब से मुतल्लिक लिखा था। उनका कहना था, ख्वाजा सनाउल्लाह का, कि इसी एक पैराग्राफ में डॉक्टर एलिजान का मुकम्मल डिस्क्रिप्शन हो रहा है। वो जुमला यूं था, जुमला ये कोट, कश्मीर की सियासी तहरीक और तारीख में शेख मोहम्मद अब्दुल्ला को जो मकबूलियत और अवलियत और अहमियत हासिल है, वही मकबूलियत, वही अवलियत और वही अहमियत कश्मीर की तिब्बी तारीख में डॉक्टर एलिजान को हासिल है। लेकिन फर्क यह है कि शेख मोहम्मद अब्दुल्ला की राय से इख्तिलाफ हो सकता था, जबकि डॉक्टर एलिजान की राय को मुकम्मल, आखिरी और हतमी तस्वर किया जाता था। सनाउल्लाह भट्ट ने मेरी तरफ देखा